Welcome back. I'm Ahmad Young, and this is where we talk about real business, real strategies, and real wealth that nobody in your school or in your family has ever told you before. Before I get into today's video, I want to say something very quickly. I've noticed that a lot of you people have been watching these videos, engaging, sharing, and this is something that I genuinely appreciate. But I've checked, and it seems that a lot of you haven't subscribed yet. So if you are getting value from what I'm putting out here every single week, hit that subscribe button. It takes only 2 seconds, and it means that you will never ever miss an episode. I'm dropping content every single week that is designed to help you think bigger, build smarter, and move differently. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. So let's get into today's episode because this one is going to hit hard. Most people are going to work every single day for the next 40 years and retire with nothing. And and the worst part is they don't even know it's happening to them. Stay with me for the next few minutes because what I'm about to share might be the most important thing you hear this week. Now, today's episode is something that I've been thinking about for a long time because this is something that is affecting almost everyone around us and no one is talking about it. And what I'm talking about is why do most people never build wealth? Like I'm talking about like generational wealth, like lasting wealth. Like why? This is something that I've been, really thinking, But today I'm gonna break it down for you, and also the way I'm gonna break it down for you is gonna be challenging, but I promise you it's gonna change the way you think. So stay with me. Let me start with something that most people never stop thinking about. From the moment we are born, society treats us, to sell our time for money. Like go to school, get a good grade, get a job, work hard, get a salary, then retire. That's the formula, and for most people, that's the entire plan. But here's the problem: time is one thing that you can never ever get back. And when your income is directly tied to your tax, that's the moment when you stop working, the money stops coming. When you get sick, the money stops coming. You know, when you get old, the money stops coming. That's not wealth. That is survival with a salary. Let me give you an example, right? Think about it this way. If you have a job, what happens if you don't show up tomorrow? The money stops coming. But when you own a business, when you have an asset, that asset keeps working for you whether you show up or not. Real wealth is when your money works for you, not when you work for your money. Real wealth is when you know you own a business, a product, an asset, whereby that asset is working for you whether you are asleep or awake. Here's another example of the African richest man. Dangote didn't just go and start pouring cement. He built systems, he built companies, he built assets that works for him whether he's awake or asleep, and that's the difference. And I found out that this is the reason why most people will never build wealth. Most people are still employee of their own life rather than being the owner of it, being control your own actions, and accountability, take responsibility. Most people aren't accountable of their own life, so how can they build wealth if they aren't accountable of their own life, if they don't take responsibilities? And I want you to ask yourself right now, are you building something real, or are you just building someone else's dream? And this doesn't mean that just go and cut off your job and go start your own business, because business takes a lot of sacrifice and also experience. But what I'm saying is you have to start something at the side of being an employee. But that's just the first reason. This one is going to hit even harder, the second one, because this is something that we are all guilty of. We live in a generation that is completely confused about building wealth and looking wealthy. Social media has created a world where appearance of success just feels as rating. People impressing people that doesn't care about them, people wearing clothes for a photo shoot that costs, the average month salary, and that the photo gets forgotten in 24 hours. And people stay in hotels, for the weekend and posting it like it's a lifestyle and going back to an empty account on Monday. But here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Every dollar you spend trying to look rich is a dollar that could have been spent in something that makes you rich. The ones that are actually wealthy are the ones that are not on social media showing their bank account. They are the ones closing deals behind closed doors when no one is watching. They are the ones building empires. They are the ones quietly, doing everything that needs to be done for their business to be successful, and also reinvesting every profit into the business. Let me use someone as an example, right? Warren Buffett still lives in his house that he built in 1958, not because he doesn't have money to buy all this luxury house, because he understands that wealth is built through discipline and not display. What you have to do right now is to stop performing that you have money and start building lasting generational wealth. So we've talked about the time trap, we've talked about the appearance trap. Now let's dive into the three things that can actually build real lasting wealth. And this is the part you want to pay attention to. In everything I've studied about people who build real lasting wealth, it comes down to three things. Number one is ownership. You have to own something, a business, a product, intellectual property, real estate, something that has value beyond your labor. Number two is consistency. Look, wealth is not built in a day, it is not built in a month. It is built through thousands of small decisions made consistently. Showing up when you don't feel like it, posting when nobody's watching, you know, sending a call when you rather stay quiet, and sending a message when you're scared of rejection. That's consistently. Compound interest works in money, but it also works in effort, reputation, and skill. So every day, if you are showing up, you are compounding, and every day, if you don't, someone else is. And here's number three. This one is something that most of us, fail to have, which is patience. We live in a world that rewards instant gratification. The real businesses, the real founders, the real legacies all were built slowly. Dangote spent decades building before the world called him Africa's richest man. Jeff Bezos started Amazon from a garage. Mr. Beast was posting content, way more before the people knew his name. The overnight success story always has 10 good years of invisible hard work behind it. And if you look at all these people, they all fall into the three categories that we just talked about. Number one is ownership, number two is consistency, and number three is patience. I promise you, if you fall into these three words, your life will completely change. I want to leave you with this. I am a young man from the Gambia, one of the smallest countries in Africa by every conventional measure, and the odds are not in my favor. But I choose to wake up and keep building every single day, not because it's easy, not because the results are flying overnight. It's because that I know the work that I'm putting in is setting into something that I can't fully see yet. And that's what I want you to take from today's episode. You know, don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for someone to validate your vision. Don't wait for someone to come and push you. Push yourself, because what the life you want, the wealth you want, is on the other side of the decisions that you keep delaying. Also, make sure that you own something and you stay consistent with it, and also be patient. I know it's not easy, but you need to have patience, and that is how empires are built. So thank you for watching this episode, and share it to one person, because that one share can change someone else's life. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now, please. That's the favor I can ask you. Do it now, because I'm building something week after week, and also I don't want you to miss any of my next episodes. So drop your thoughts in the comment. I read every single comment and I reply personally. I'm Ahmad. I'm Ahmad Young. Let's keep building.